Hey, and welcome to the Board Game Batcave, where this week we're talking about new game Hoard and Plunder. It's a card game by Nicholas Pierce for ages 7 to adult. And it's not available yet, but you can go to the Facebook page, what we're going to put right here, if you want to read more about it. But we were sent a review copy by him. We thank you very much. And we've played it a couple of times, and now we're going to tell you what we think about it in our standard format of components, theme, gameplay, and replayability. So we're going to allow you to start for this time, since you don't ever get to start first.
I always start first, don't I?
Oh, no, okay.
This is
Yes,
components.
components.
It's a straight up card game, but the cards are very nice card stock.
And as an aside, we're not sure, since it's not published yet, we're not sure if this is a finished version or a review copy only, so keep that in mind.
Okay. 90 card game. Like I said, the card stock, they didn't cheap out on it. Full card size and everything. They feel like they were pretty good. The artwork on them is nothing incredible, but they do the job well and everything. They, represent very well what they're supposed to. And it's a pretty simple game also. Mm-hmm. They don't give you any extra frills or anything like that, but they give you exactly what you need to play this game. So I'm going to go... It was a 7 for me. I think they could have done more if they wanted to, but they definitely could have gone less, and they gave you exactly what you need to play the game. So 7.
Yeah, I'm thinking, it's just a card game, just like any standard card game you get out there at Barnes & Noble or whatever now.
Yeah.
And it was, if I had any suggestion, it would be that the artwork is a little basic. It almost looks like that. Yeah. And I understand this may not be the final version.
Yeah.
But I would suggest if you're going to put out a final version, maybe put more interesting card work. It looks like something you get from the the graphics you can pull for free off of standard art stuff.
A lot of we've reviewed games before where some of, especially the cartoony stuff. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like it doesn't quite go, or this didn't quite. I think this could have worked with a little bit more of a pirate holding the pistol or the cutlass or something instead of just a picture of the cutlass. I think it could have done a little bit more and bumped it up a little bit more, in my opinion. Like I said, it didn't do anything wrong, but they could have gone a little bit more, I think, maybe.
Yeah. It's good. It was good enough for us to understand the mechanics.
Exactly.
But let's take it to the next step now.
Yeah.
If that gets done, I think I'm going to go with 7 also, because it's a card game, but it's still got everything you need.
Yeah.
So I think that's about a 7 for me also.
Yeah.
No doubt. This is from the redundancy department of redundancy. It's a 7. It's a card game, and it's a good deck of cards. You're going to get good wear out of them, and real basic artwork for right now, and that's probably going to change if it catches fire or, if it gets a little momentum behind it. But there's no confusion behind it. It's very clear. Everything you need to know is right there, but a little more flair would be nice to see out of it later on. So let's give it a 7 on the components.
Now, you may be redundant, but at least you get the last word.
Yeah. Always the last word.
You were the last word in all of our reviews. Okay, so theme would be our next one.
Theme, yet another pirate themed game.
I'm
nothing.
still okay with it.
Yeah, I am okay with it. But in this kind of game, it could have been a ton of other things. Mm-hmm. You could have called this Ladybugs. And you're trying to see how many ladybugs you can get out in front of you. Instead of a gun and a cannon taking other people's ladybugs.
Cheese weasels.
Or an insect net or something to capture other people's bugs. The theme worked just fine. Could have been a bunch of other stuff.
But it didn't change anything about the game.
Nothing at all. I didn't think, this game was made a ton better because it was pirate themed or whatever. It just, it was flavoring and nothing more to me, really. So, the theme, it's okay. I'm going to go 6 on this. nothing bad to say about the game or whatever. It didn't do anything at all for me. It didn't change the gameplay one bit, or it didn't hamper it either. I mean, it was there and it worked, but nothing special. So 6.
It was like I said about, I think, 7th Hero. It was added more. I think the theme was more for the benefit of the audience than it was for the game.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, because it's an interesting theme, let's slap that on there rather than it helps the game in any way. Now, if you were to add, say, cards like that loot card-based game where it has a captain card and add maybe some historical context to the card or something like that, that would pique my interest more.
Yeah.
But as it is, it's like you said, it's just there. Yeah. It's a placeholder. So I'll be a little bit more generous because I like pirates, but 6.5.
Cool. I like pirates too. That's a theme that for some reason every time I see it, and we do see it a lot, I don't mind it. I like it, and it works out okay for me. So for me, the theme again, it's nothing that just you don't get whisked away and feel like you're out there on the high seas or anything like that. But it does deliver your hoarding and your plundering. It's basically you want treasure, so you're trying to hold on to the treasure you have, and you're trying to steal the treasure that the other players have. So yeah, you hoard, you plunder, and it's all right there. But it's pretty basic. But as I've said before, just about any game that doesn't go with the zombie theme gets thumbs up from me, so it gets a benefit from that. So I'm actually going to give it the highest rating I think of so far. I'm going to give it a 7. Not spectacular, but nothing wrong with it either. It works just fine, and I like the.
If we're going to slap a theme on it, a pirate theme is the way to go. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly.
All right, so that leads us into gameplay.
Gameplay. The rules are pretty straightforward out for this.
Oh, yeah.
Ages 7 to adult. We did comment during playing this that is about right. I feel like this is a game that you could teach kids to play. How old is your daughter? Emma?
7.
7. I think Emma could. Smart girl. I think she could grasp this game and be able to play it just fine. So
she kills me at love letters. So
yeah. So it's got the added benefit. I do like that every now and then. Where if you've got kids, this will be a good game for them or whatever.
I agree.
Because it's almost to the point where this is a game that kids could grasp, but they almost feel like they're playing in an older person's game or whatever. So it's right on the cusp and everything. The game mechanics work fine or whatever. Matter of fact. During the second game, the first game was feeling it out. The second game was more where you incorporated a little bit more,
right,
and stuff like that. What I don't know what else to say about it or anything. I'm at a loss for words or whatever. I know, shocking, isn't it? But I think it did it well. Oh, what I was going to talk about is. Normally, the learning curve of some of these games is really super high. This one is opposite of that.
Yeah.
We had to look up in the rules one simple question, like
whether it affects everybody or one.
Yeah, and I'm a little whatever on that because you're trying to steal treasure from one player, and then like they can block it or defend against it or whatever.
He's trying to get in on my booty. Is what's happening. He's trying to score is what we're talking about here.
Somebody was trying to steal somebody else's treasure after I had worn down somebody, and I thought, that is snapping my ill-gotten gains.
That's good timing.
I should be able to defend a compatriot as he's trying to steal treasure. None of that.
Sure.
So I could see that, but that's not the pirate way. It's everybody for himself. But except for that one rule we had to look at, the gameplay was fairly straightforward.
Oh, yeah.
And a nice game. So actually the gameplay, to be simplistic, but it was a little bit of some strategy to it or whatever. Yeah. So I'm going to go like a 6.5 for this. It's right on the verge. I could go 7, but I'm not going to.
I was going to say, I think the author needs to if he ever does kickstart this or publish it, it needs to kind of aim for that 7 to 10 to 13 audience.
Yeah.
And maybe use our suggestion of the cartoony pirates.
That's why the cartoony pirates, I think, would actually.
Because I think the kids would really enjoy that. And with the parrot on one or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think my daughter would like this game.
I think so too.
And I would enjoy playing it with her and not feel like, oh God, Hungry Hippos again.
Yeah.
Where you.
Or every time you steal somebody's treasure, you got to go "arr" like that. That ought to be part of the game right there,
A suggestion at the bottom of what you can say when you're stealing. But yeah, I think the rules were well written enough that we didn't really have to wonder how to play the game, which does happen every once in a while. And,
more often than you would think.
I did find a couple of spelling errors, but I could see that as a, just a quick reviewer copy, and so I'm not going to put that against it. And so I'm going to say the gameplay is a good, fast, fun game, but with the caveat that I don't think that it will hold the attention of an adult group very long.
No, but younger kids, they would do
but
it.
7 to 10, 13 even maybe.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give it a 7 based on that.
Yeah, I get you.
And I think you need to do the old cartoon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the gameplay on this was pretty good. It's smooth, it's simple, it flows real easily. It's draw a card, play a card, and maybe that card might allow you to do one or two other things, but it's really smooth. The directions lay it out for you. So I thought the gameplay on this was pretty good. This is a quick, 10 minutes at the most? It's it moves along really quickly. So I thought the gameplay was pretty strong, and I do think targeted a little more to that younger demographic. They're going to enjoy it. It's more to it than Go Fish or something like that, but it's easy enough for them to grasp it. And you won't have to sit there and correct them on the rules and everything. It's very, very plain. So I thought it was pretty strong, actually. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 7.5 on the gameplay. I thought they did a nice job of putting it together.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen it or not. There's a game, I think it's called Pippi Longstocking. It's a card game for kids that I have. It was given to us as a gift. But the rules were in German.
Oh.
And I had to figure out how to play it based off my limited German. And this reminds me a lot of it, but I'm not sure I'm playing it right. So if anybody out there knows about this game, please point me to some rules in English that I can find and I can compare it. But anyway, now we're going to talk about replayability.
Since y'all been talking about how this would probably be more accepted as a, playing with kids kind of card game or whatever, well, replayability with us, just adults playing or whatever, I could take this game or leave it. I mean, if I don't play this game anymore after tonight, it's going to be just another game, be like, I played it, and it was a good game or whatever. If I had kids or whatever, and they really got into this, I could see playing this game a lot, because I think kids are going to dig this, really. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be jaded just because it's not an adult game for me or whatever. If I had an 8-year-old, 7 or 8-year-old, and they dug this game or whatever, I'd probably play it a couple times a week or so. They'd be like, hey, let's play this game or whatever,
I could even see my 3-year-old playing this with someone explaining to him what the cards mean.
Yeah.
Because he would get into the whole taking and
So looking at it from that way, if you've got younger kids or whatever, and you want to, another fun game for them to play or whatever, replayability for this would probably be pretty darn high. This would probably be like an 8 for kids or whatever, or adults teaching their kids or a game to play with them. For a game just strictly adults, I'm going to give it a 6. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but
split the difference in, give it a 7.
No, I'm going to go, well, I mean, it's conditional, but if I had kids or whatever, or if Emma wanted to play with us, I would play this game with her or whatever, and I think kids would like it a lot. So I'm going to go 8.
Oh, you're going to go 8? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's I'm only considering it as a younger crowd game now because I see it. There's a niche for it, and so I'm going to grade it on that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to grade it the same thing. I'm going to give it an 8 because I think I can see me and my daughter playing this.
Well, and also, just because we weren't talking about the kids in the earlier, things for points, whatever, like, because this may be a kid adult game, it's not going to change the way I feel about the rules or the components of it or whatever. The components are the components of it, whether it's a kid's game or an adult game. But the replayability definitely, sometimes you take in the effects of, I'm going to play this with my kids, or somebody else's kids or whatever. So sometimes you do figure that in, and gameplay or replayability definitely, if you get kids involved, a lot higher than if it were just adults playing it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where did you come in at then?
8.
8. All right, not bad. Yeah, replayability for me on this is also dependent on the group that you're looking at. Our gaming group is going to get, I wouldn't say tired of this game pretty quick, but they're going to see that there's limited strategy to it. You sort of play the hand that's dealt to you. If you get a good draw of cards, then you're going to have a pretty strong run. If you don't, you're going to be on defense, and you're going to do the best you can, and just see where it all works out. But I guess what I'm getting at is there's definitely a demographic that would get a lot of fun or get a lot of replay out of this. It's not going to be our group necessarily. So I think just to try to kind of split the middle in there and be fair, I'm going to give it a 7. Pretty good. And if you're in a group that really just likes card games, then this is something a little different, and you could work it into that group. But if you're in a group that likes a little more involved, you're probably going to wear thin of this pretty quick. Yeah. So I think 7.0 for me on replayability.
Cool. I think I added, just as a comment on why I gave it an 8, I think I can convince a lot of non-gamers to play this. I can see my in-laws playing this.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but just they would get it because they don't get a lot of the intricacies of some of these new board games that are out there. But they would understand cards, and they play a lot of cards.
Yeah,
sure.
And so I think I could draw a lot of people into the world with this.
Yeah, because it's a light.
Yeah, very light.
Yeah,
light, quick, smooth game. I like it.
It's almost Go Fish, Crazy Eights, Old Maid kind of.
Sort of along that lines. Yeah.
But there's a place for those games too.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. We're gonna put the score right here, and if you think you like it, you can go to the website, which I'll put up here again, and then you can go let Mr. Pierce know what you think about his game and where you can get it, because I think he has some copies for sale.
Cool.
Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time on
ya.
Black Cave.